Hello, this is Amanda with From Where I Stamp. I'm going to show you how to create a card using the Your Peach Designer Series paper, the Stamparatus, and coloring in the images or image using stamping blends. Stick around to the end of my video and you'll see where my card inspiration came from. So the Your Peach Designer Series paper is a bright and peachy designs and colors, and even though we do not have a peach color, a color with peach in its name, a Calypso Coral with Mango Melody, Petal Pink, and Pale Papaya. There we go. Petal Pink, and this is Pale Papaya. And with a little bit of Bumblebee. When you combine some of those colors together, you can see them here on the peaches in the paper. And then this blue, which is the balmy blue, I want to say an old color from long time ago, and some early espresso for the branches, pear pizzazz, but to me it almost looks more like the darker shade of old olive. But the card base I'm using tonight is the pear pizzazz. So this designer series paper is found, well, I should say the suite is found on pages 60 to 61 of the annual catalog. And I love the little jam jars here covered with the designer series paper. And this is an adorable stamp set, the Sweet as a Peach Sweet as a Peach stamp set. And it does have matching dies as well. But there's some examples of what you can do with the paper and the bundle. But I wanted to share with you how you could use the Forever Blossoms with this pack of paper. So my card base is Pear Pizzazz, and I've already scored it at 4 1/4. And just using a bone folder, I have cut a piece 4 wide, 5 1/4 inches long, and we're going to glue that right onto the card front. And remember, stick around. I'll be sharing where in the catalog you can find this card using a different stamp set and different papers. All right, so there's my card base. And then I have this piece of basic white, thick cardstock, because that's going to be the best to color in with our Stampin' Blends. But first, I have to stamp. So we'll move those blends off to the side. And the Stamparatus is great for doing some stamping, especially with these larger images. Now this one here is a red rubber stamp, so I don't need this insert. So I'll set that off to the side, and I'm going to use this large flower and stem image. I'm just going to stick, I only use one magnet at a time, so that way they don't have a chance to click together. And you could put it up against the top if you want, but I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to put this stamp just yet. So it'll probably hang off a little. Kind of, sort of, like that. And then I'm going to put my magnet here because the stamp won't touch it. You could put another magnet up there if you wanted, but I find generally you don't need it. Now, because I will be coloring with the Stampin' Blends, I will be using the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. If you use the Stays On, because Stays On is an alcohol-based ink, there's a possibility, I should say, of it being pulled up with the alcohol markers. I think I need to re-ink my ink pad. Oh well. All right. Now this stamp is more like a distinctive stamp. And if it doesn't stamp very well, you can always re-ink it again and flip this back over again because it'll stamp in the same spot. And this is a great reason why I cut my Simply Chamois in half, is for the cleaning of my Stamparatus. This is a lot better size to use to clean. And then just clean it all up. And because it is a cling, I don't like to leave the stamps on either blocks or the Stamparatus plates, because it's a possibility that it'll stick really well and you could damage your stamp by pulling it off. Alright, so this one here is for my sentiment. We're going to do "You Mean So Much to Me." And the Stamparatus really shines when doing sentiments. Just make that sure that's kind of centered, because the sentiment will go exactly where I want it to go now. Whoops, almost wore that ink. That's okay. And I can stamp that down. And what I'm going to do is I'm not sure which of these I want, which color I want it to be. Whether Petal Pink or Calypso Coral will be my end choice. I figured I would color in the flowers first using the blends, and then I could pick what my sentiment color was going to be. Alright, so now I have extras. Put my stamp away. And the Stamparatus away. Okay, and we'll put those up there for now. I like to use an extra piece of paper. You could use the Stamparatus Deluxe Foam Mat, but you want something to protect your work table when using the blends. Alright, so I'm going to start with some Petal Pink, and you always start with the light first. Our blends have two ends, so we have this pen end that's very thin, and then the paintbrush or marker side, which is thicker. So I'm just going to start, this is with the light, and I want that Designer Series paper to be close by, because I just want to have a look at how it was colored in, just so I can try and get the colors a little bit. And don't color in too much with the blends, like with the, too much at once, I should say, because you won't be able to blend it in very well as it dries. So you may only want to do one flower at a time. If you've never used blends before, that might be the best idea. This one I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow. Whoops, I forgot to put my phone on silent. Put some yellow. And now I'm going to do some Petal Pink Dark to smush all those colors together. And after, even though I'm using a different color to blend all these in, afterwards you can just rub this here just to clear it off a bit, just in case it's picked up some of the darker colors. And then you can go back through if you feel like you need a little bit more yellow somewhere. You can add that in. I shouldn't say yellow, mango. We're going to take a little bit of dark Calypso Coral right at the center, I think. And then go back with my dark petal pink just to try and smoother those lines a little bit, just so it looks blended. So that's where the blends name comes from, is where we can use the alcohol to blend those flowers together. So we'll do this one here too. Oops, I'm using the dark, but that's okay. We'll use some mango. I like saying mango. I don't like mangoes, but. And then we'll grab some calypso. I love these colors. And these I pulled from the designer paper. I know I say that a lot, but it is something that these colors listed, they're listed right on the pack of paper. So that's where I've pulled my colors from. Okay, so we'll smush all these together. There we go. And now I don't have the Pear Pizzazz. I don't remember if we have Pear Pizzazz blends. So let's have a peek here. So colors are found on page 122 and 123. And the blends are listed with the ink, cardstock, and refills, ink refills. So Pear Pizzazz is a subtle. So there is no blends for it. But we could do maybe soft seafoam, which I don't believe I have, with the old olive. All right. Let's see. Maybe I do have soft seafoam. Let's have a look. Nope. That's okay. We'll just use some old olive here. And this is the light. I think I'll mostly use the light. And the leaf already has some shading on it. So coloring in, you could just color it in with markers if you wanted. Because you can buy a family of colors of markers, or you could watercolor this in too. You could always stamp on a watercolor paper and color this in. Or you could color it in with the bigger brush end. Oh, this one's kind of dying. I must have used it lots. There we go. So stick those markers off to the side. And this paper. All right, so there's our image all ready to go. And then I can decide which one of these I want to put with it. But I also have some strips of designer series paper here, so I'm going to set my sentiments off to the side. And I don't think I want to use the blue side. I have a bunch of them cut up because this design uses strips of paper behind the main image. So I'm just wanting to pull out a bunch of pieces here. And I can trim them down if I need to. Like this piece is Okay, where's my trimmer? We'll cut down a few more pieces. We'll trim this at 4. And then we'll get this piece at 3 3/4 or so. I don't know. It looks kind of busy. So maybe I won't use so many pieces. All right. So grab some liquid glue. Actually, I don't want that thick piece. Let's do a thinner one. So using these strips, if you've, I did have a card up on my blog using the hand pen designer paper where I did strips similar to this on it. So using the strips of paper is a great way to use up pieces of your designer series paper that are left over from cutting it up, say for card fronts. Yeah, let's go that way. And then we'll do one more. I think that'll be more than enough. And then I will show you, once I have this assembled, what my card was, what my card inspiration was. All right, so this here, see how it's bled through? So that's why it's nice to have that piece of maybe copy paper or some something underneath it to protect your tabletop. And then we'll just stick this down in the center. That looks a lot busier than I thought it would. That's okay. It's still fun. All right, so we have You Mean So Much to Me in Calypso Coral or Petal Pink. Calypso Coral it is. And this one, I'm going to use our mini Stampin' Dimensionals to give it that little bit of a pop. So it pops off the card. Now, if you wanted to, you could also cut the edge of your banner, your sentiment, to create a little bit of detail to it if you'd like. And I prefer using this deluxe foam mat just to give me an idea if my sentiment is straight or not. There we go. So there is my card using the Forever Blossoms stamp set. And I really like how that turned out. Oh, but I also wanted to show you the Bumblebee trinkets and glue dots. So these are new in the annual catalog. Oops, my finger has glue on it. And aren't these adorable? So I'm going to use one of those with a glue dot and put it in my flowers, because this is a great project to add one of these on. Oopsie, that did not work. Okay, where shall it go? Maybe here, there, right here. Come on, move over. I know I have glue on my finger. There we go. Oh well, I have glue on my finger. All right, so there is my card. So, thanks for sticking around to the end. I'm going to share with you my inspiration out of the catalog on page 86. So this, let me pick this up actually. This card right here using the Badger Besties. This here was my inspiration for my card. What do you think? I like it. I like how that turned out. So if you like this video, share it with a friend who you think would love these bumblebee trinkets, or to learn how to use our Stampin' Blends, or even the Stamparatus, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next week.